All right, it is time to build our second wall. This is going to be the right side wall. We can see this right here in our isometric drawing. And down here on the title, it is the right wall. And we can see on here we've got a detail. If we look on our isometric view, there's a close-up. We can see how this corner is going to go. So remember we had our California corner before on the back wall. Well, this wall is going to have a little corner where it tucks right in. So the tricky part on this is when we do our 16-inch spacing, you can see our 15 1/4 spacing from the end actually goes to, if we went to the center, right there, that would be 16 inches. So we're still doing 16-inch on center. Remember from the first page, we had that 16-inch on center, and we saw this TYP, or typical, which means all of our stud spacing will be 16 inches from center. All right, so what we need to do to start this is we're going to need our top and bottom plates. We have two measurements here. We have 120 inches, which is 10 feet. And then down here we have 113 inches, which is basically going to be that 10 feet minus this space over here and this space here. So it's minus 7 inches. And that gives us room to have that back wall fit in right there. So if we look at our ruler here, I can find a 10-foot board right there, matches right on the 10. And rather than counting 113 or doing a whole bunch of math, I'm just going to count backwards 7 inches from here. We'll get this one out of the way. Right, 10 feet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Put a little mark right there, and I'm going to find that top plate. It's 113 inches long. We'll need 2 of those buggers. Ba-doom, ba-doom, ba-doom. All right, and on top of that, we're going to need a bunch of studs. Let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 studs. I think I grabbed an extra one there. We'll take these 10-footers and just get them out of the way for now. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to, from the right side, looking over here at the wall, and actually this looks like it's been flipped. This is an outside view. So it doesn't matter because we're not sheeting this. We can just flip it around when we're done. We'll do it like the drawing. We'll start from the right-hand side. We're going to measure back 16 inches, but we need a 3.5-inch offset. With this tiny little ruler, it's going to be hard, but let me show you a shortcut here. Let's take this out of the way. So if I take my stick right here, and I just go like that. Remember, we've got a 2x4 on the end there for our back wall. So if I just set this up like this, line that up right there, if I put those together, that makes 10 feet total. So now I can do just like we did before. We can do our 16-inch on centers. Get that lined up there. We're using this as an offset. So we could either measure 15 inches, but we'd have to do an adjustment each time, or I can just put a block in there and go like this. There's my 16 on center. Remember, I'm going to go offset by 3/4 of an inch. So go right there. Everywhere there's a diamond, I'm going to come back 3/4. So there's the diamond mark. There's the next inch over. We're going to go 3/4 of an inch from that. Holding that in place so it doesn't slide. We'll just work our way across there. And right here at the end, it seems silly to put a stud so close to the end, but if we had a panel break right there, we definitely need to have that. Okay, and we'll do just like we did before. And we'll mark our squares. Make sure you do the X on the top and the bottom plate. Now this one does not have a California corner, so the top and the bottom don't really matter. They're interchangeable. Flip this around the other way. Get them lined up. And also we need one on each end as well. So right away I can see this looks a little bit different than the last one I did, because those end studs are just a little bit closer. But remember, when we put the front wall and the back wall on, then that's going to break right where I want it to break. All right, let's do like we did before. Let's go ahead and frame up one side, and then we'll pause for a minute and frame the other side. Remember, when you're on the job site, when you've got these laid out together like this, if you pick this up and turn around and walk it behind, you're going to flip it. We cannot flip this one because these are not symmetrical. So we're going to spread them apart this way without flipping them. Okay, let's go ahead and glue this bugger up. All right, one extra stud. We'll let that sit for about 10 minutes before we try anything else, and then we'll set this bottom one on just like we did on the back wall. Okay, we're right here at about the end of the right side wall. I'm just going to do a little bit of taping here to kind of get that in place. I'm going to use that like a hinge. Actually, no. I think we'll put the glue on it first, but discovered we do need just a tiny bit of tape to hold this all together, or if you've got a second set of hands, you can use a person to help you. All right, just like we did before, if this was the real world, we just put them up and nail them in, but I'm gonna do a little bit of gluing here. So just a drop of glue on each X. Flip that bottom plate up into place there. And I realize this is kind of janky, but sometimes, like I've said, we just have to improvise a little bit. Now if I put a piece over the top like this, I can use this to hold them on the line. So I'm just going to press down on each end, and then I'll line up on the line. Once it's on the line, I'll push down right there. Get them in the right place. And I think on this one, I'm just going to kind of pull it in there just a little bit there, make sure it's got good contact on it. I'll do a couple of those. I'm just pushing in there, giving a little tug to hold it in place. And once we put the sheeting on this, that'll be nice and rigid. There we go. I'm gonna let that sit overnight. I'll come back tomorrow and we'll pull it apart. But you won't know that because I'm gonna edit that part out. So there you go. Don't forget to close your glue and clean up any glue blobbiness that you have there. All right, that is all.